एनी ग्राफ तर तुम्ही कसं एक्सप्लेन करणार एनी ग्राफ. फर्स्ट पॉइंट इज आयडेंटिफिकेशन. फर्स्ट पॉइंट इज आयडेंटिफिकेशन. Identification, then explanation, and finally conclusion or interpretation. म्हणजे मला असं म्हणायचे की फर्स्ट पॉईंट काय असला पाहिजे. कुठला ग्राफ देऊ द्या तुम्हाला, इन्स्ट्रुमेंट देऊ, ग्राफ देऊ. तर फर्स्ट इज फॉर एक्झाम्पल हा ग्राफ दिला किंवा हा ग्राफ दिला. द फर्स्ट पॉइंट इज द आयडेंटिफिकेशन ऑफ द ग्राफ. ग्राफ की चीज काय है. देन observation of this graph और discussion of this graph. क्या है explanation, इसका explanation क्या है. आइडेंटिफाई किया मैंने, then we have to go for explanation. explanation के बाद conclusion, interpretation. इसका फायनल मोटो क्या है. बरोबर. तर मी तुम्हाला हे सांगतो की कुठलाही ग्राफ असू द्या, कारण की ज्यावेळेस एक्झाममध्ये आपण हे करतो ना त्यावेळेस पण कन्फ्यूज होतो इससे बोलना क्या है, बोलना क्या है. तो कौन सा ग्राफ देना दो इंस्ट्रूमेंट देना. फर्स्ट वी हैव टू कमेंट ऑन द आइडेंटिफिकेशन एज लाइक दिस इज द इफेक्ट ऑफ वेरियस स्ट्रेंथ ऑफ स्टिमुलाई ऑन skeletal muscles. Identification. Second, explanation. Second is explanation. Now see the graph carefully. See the baseline. When we give the stimuli in increasing order, म्हणजे बघा आपण स्टिम्युलाई वाढवत आहोत and simultaneously we are going to decrease the distance between the primary and secondary coil. Distance between the primary and secondary coil. We are going to decrease the distance. 30, 28. We are going to decrease the distance to the primary and secondary coil, which means that it will help to increase the electric current or finally stimuli. Electric current or stimuli. Now see the first, make and break. Make break. Now observe in case of the make we have little bit contraction, the height of contraction, and observe in case of break we have more height of contraction. Now up to this we have the subthreshold stimuli. When we are going to increase the stimuli and at one point the threshold stimuli will be there. Now then what is the threshold and suprathreshold and subthreshold stimuli? The subthreshold stimuli is the stimuli which strength is less than threshold stimuli. And threshold stimuli is the minimum amount of strength of stimuli which required to elicit the response. This is the threshold stimuli. And before that this is the subthreshold stimuli. And this threshold, after the threshold, this is suprathreshold stimuli. Now observe the height of contraction in the threshold and suprathreshold is the same. Height of contraction is same. But in case of subthreshold, the height of contraction is less. Which means that when we apply the adequate strength of stimuli, then our muscle will give the contraction. This is known as all or none phenomena. The all or none phenomena obeyed by the cardiac muscle fully due to the presence of intercalated disc and syncytium. But in the case of skeletal muscle, this motor unit only obey the all and none phenomena because the intercalated disc is absent or the syncytium is absent in the skeletal muscle. And now last point, the make and break. In case of the make, the electric current generation is less as compared to the break, because during the break the magnetic flux generation is more, and with the magnetic flux generation the electric current generation is more. That's why the height of contraction, see the height of contraction in case of break is more as compared to the make. Now the last interpretation, or what is the clinical significance of this graph? The interpretation or the clinical significance of the graph, whenever we are going to stimulate or we are going to exercise, we require the adequate stimuli for muscle contraction और मसल स्ट्रेनिंग. आपको मसल स्ट्रेनिंग देना है, एक्सरसाइज करना है, वी रिक्वायर एडिक्वेट अमाउंट ऑफ स्टिमुलाई. दिस इज द क्रक्स, दिस इज द क्रक्स. समझ में आया? एंड व्हाट इज द मोटर यूनिट? One motor
neuron plus one muscle fiber.
Motor neuron and muscle fiber. This is called as a
Motor unit.
motor unit.